3 races down, 10 to go. 20 of sim racing's best have now experienced 3 different forms of racing. 1 road course, 1 street circuit, and 1 oval. But now it's time for all these drivers to grab each experience and apply them even further as we flip back and forth between the 3 different types of circuit layouts for 10 more races. And it continues on here with yet again another road course. Good evening, folks, and welcome aboard another live production for Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network DART Series on iRacing. We are at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada for Round 4-13 of the running for the second annual Greg Moore Cup. It's the DART Indy Ontario. Yes, we've always been saying American open wheel racing sort of this time around is certainly a way to put it, but let's just give me a second here to get to our faces. Yes, there we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast booth here for the Canadian Motorsports Network. My name is Regan McCauley from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, Canada. I'm the main voice for the network. On the other side, he's been here since the very beginning, of course, my color commentator buddy from the other side of the country in Alberta. It is Jordy Kerher. So, Jordy, 3 races in, plenty to talk about here in Season 2 of DART, of course. We had race 1 in Alabama with the pole sitter out on lap 1, rookie versus veteran for the win, and of course, the rookie coming out victorious in Dylan Bahm. Race 2 in Long Beach, it's all Charlie Sears as he nearly laps the entire field, and yet again, it was another rookie win. And it doesn't even end there because race 3 at Texas, there was a big crash before the green flag. There were 100 laps of green flag racing, and then a late caution changed everything, and it had to do with some lap traffic, of course, and it was a 3-car battle to the checkered flag, and at the line, Dylan Bahm became a 2-time DART race winner, and his celebration was, if we had to put this a certain way, being sent to the moon by Ty Higginbotham, because apparently there's no better way to do it, but yes, in English terms, they crashed after the start-finish line. Thankfully, they did that after the checkered flag. But seriously, though, Jordy, it's been interesting so far here in Season 2 with the top dogs, with Dylan Bahm and Charlie Sears both having patterns of winning and DNFing. Bahm is like, win, DNF, win. Sears is DNF, win, DNF. Meanwhile, veteran Andy Hurdle is Mr. Consistent, although, quite frankly, tonight it seems like he actually won't be showing up tonight. We won't see him until the Indianapolis 250 next week. But ironically, anyways, we'll get back to the Hurdle situation in just a little bit. Bahm now has a 30-point lead heading into tonight, and he'll certainly be praying that the pattern that he's been going through as of recently doesn't continue tonight, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, the fact that he's won on a couple of different tracks, now a couple of different formats, again, he's clearly established himself as a contender and someone to watch over the course of this DART season. And yeah, I think tonight will prove to be another interesting challenge, very different configuration. It's the kind of track where, someone with a bit more straight line speed can certainly make a difference, whereas certainly Barber and Long Beach, you had to get the technical part right as well. Canadian Tire, you can kind of open up a little bit, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, ultimately, I think 3 races, we've seen a fairly decent mix. Obviously, the oval last week shook some things up, and, our race-ending crash, they say everything's bigger in Texas, right? So we kind of had to go that way. But yeah, I think we've seen different people really establish themselves over the course of, again, our 3 different track configurations that we've had. And yeah, now that we're back to road courses, maybe a little bit more comfort, a little bit more familiarity. Ultimately, we've seen a couple of runaways so far on the, road and street circuits. I don't know if it'll be quite as pronounced this time around.
Indeed, you said everything's big at Texas, and then I would say for this week, this time around, it's pretty much going to a roller coaster over the border, not in the United States, Canada, of course. We'll get to that in just a little bit, though. So let's take a look here at the previous race results here from the Texas DART 188. Dylan Bahm victorious twice after 3 races, holds quite the points lead. Extra points certainly help as well from leading laps and all that. Ty Higginbotham certainly impressed everyone and maybe even himself with a consistent run all night and nearly claiming his first career DART Series victory. especially after getting 8th and 11th place finishes to begin the season. Quite the turnaround for him. Andy Hurdle returns to the podium for the second week in a row. Rookie Patrick Hernandez fell just short of a podium finish, but he did earn his first career top 5 and top 10 finishes. Last year's points runner-up Darcy Ford finished 5th for the second time within 3 races. Jose Mercado's top 10 consistency continues once again, and he did have the speed for a potential podium finish, but he just couldn't clutch at the end. Daniel Cudmore, C.D. Magrum, Darcy Cudmore, and Mike Marini round out the top 10. Nice to see it of the Cudmore brothers in particular. Hunter Young and Kyle Noel fell short of a top 10. Mark Roulette was caught up in the lap 1 crash, and, he still didn't give up. He still kept racing despite being many laps down. Might as well finish it out. But then that late race caution that we had it did involve him. It was a little bit of a fiasco there, so some very unfortunate luck that he's had early on in his DART Series career. Jason Butler took a hard hit on pit road after a loose moment through turns 3 and 4. Jonathan Swainson and Ivan Reynolds unfortunately fell victim to some black flag errors early in the race, again from relating to that lap 1 crash. Charlie Sears was taken out in that crash, and then you see 3 drivers there. Corbin McCauley, Michael Dimitrov, and Caden Tufts did not participate last week at Texas. Now we'll move on here to the championship point standings. After 3 rounds, the tightness from before Texas has gotten a little bit wider, at least for the lead. Second on back is still in a heated battle, as only 9 points separate second and third. Charlie Sears and C.D. Magrum are tied for third. Ty Higginbotham and Darcy Ford move up into 5th and 6th. And there's really nothing else too notable except a few position swaps down the standings. Although I will say Corbin McCauley's absence due to his participation in last week's eNASCAR College iRacing Series event has him over 50 points behind Dylan Bahm, so he'll have to definitely figure things out as things move forward here. The Rookie of the Year battle, yet again, it's just, it's the battle is yet another one with Dylan Bahm gaining a massive lead, or not too massive, but it's big. Meanwhile, the Sears and Magrum tie carries over from the regular points. Jose Mercado not far behind. Swainson and Hernandez are in a tie for 5th. We take a look at the manufacturer standings, where Toyota is still the big manufacturer, while Rolls-Royce jumps a spot on the podium. Chevrolet falls from 2nd to 4th, and then BMW climbs onto the podium. And then to round it all up, points-wise, we have the Nations Cup, of course, which sees the United States, again, not backing down. I mean, for context, drivers within the series will compete to see if Canada or the United States is the best. The top 5 finishers from each country will count towards their team total. And after round 3, 137 points separate the bordering countries. So far, United States showing that they are the best.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 winners are Americans so far, so definitely stands to reason there's, 150 right there.
And now with all that being said, now it's time to move on from then to now and where we are headed next, of course. Just obviously you're seeing just the first half of the schedule. There's 13 races, not 6. I remind everyone of that every single week just in case. Car engine power also not negative 7.5, it's actually negative 5%. But anyways, we were in America for 3 rounds. Now we grab our passports and jump the border to the Great White North, known as Canada, where rumors say it's all polar bears, igloos, and snow.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what legends you want to believe, of course. But yeah, I mean, don't forget the people who always say a boat or the floppy heads or whatever you want to go with, or all that good stuff.
Indeed. So now we'll just kind of get a bit of a scenic view here of the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as I kind of explain what's all about the track and everything. It's a 2.4 mile, 3.9 kilometer, 10-turn road course, 40 miles and 64 kilometers east of the city of Toronto. It's a very popular circuit up in Canada that has hosted NASCAR and IMSA events. A few times in the 60s and the 70s, it even hosted Formula One. But top-level American open wheel racing, at least the name that we literally legally can't say here, has never touched this facility since its opening in 1961. This is a track known for long straightaways, swooping corners, and a ton of elevation changes. In other words, it is, like you were saying to me earlier, Jordy, it's basically a roller coaster. The most known areas include like Moss Corner, the Mario Andretti straightaway, and the one fans love but drivers absolutely hate, especially for sure, and coming from NASCAR experience, White's Corner, which is that final corner that you can see heading towards that start-finish line. Many things have happened there. I mean, it's, the leader always seems to get rocket launched into oblivion, or in English terms, their butt gets dumped. It can happen, but based on the pattern we've seen with road courses and street circuits so far here in Season 2 of DART, it's been a case of drivers dominating. On the oval, we got a bit of a little bit more closer situation, so maybe this time around, it's a roller coaster of a track. It's definitely got a lot of characteristics in comparison to what we saw back at Barber and Long Beach. And especially with these Dollar IRO1 cars, we could certainly see an interesting race here tonight. And Jordy, right along time.
Let's do it, brother. As we come through White's Corner here to begin this lap, turn 1, you're basically taken flat out. It's very different from the NASCAR heat configurations we've had as we dive into this kind of double left-hander. The second part of it being called Clayton Corner. As we come up to the Quebec corner here, turn 3, a bit of a sweeping right-hander. As you alluded to, it's full throttle a good chunk of the way here. And it's the longest track we've seen so far as we're coming into this Moss Corner, named for Formula One legend Sterling Moss, greatest driver to never win a world title. And as we come out of that left-hander, you're onto that Mario Andretti straight, and you just keep climbing and climbing. All you see is sky, the horizon. Pretty much you feel like you're clear for takeoff here, but all of a sudden you got a long sweeping right-hander here into this kind of S's section toward the end of the track. Now into the infamous White's Corner, as you talked about, and voila, there's the lap, under a minute.
Indeed. Thank you very much there for the analysis, Jordy. Again, this track provides plenty of characteristics. Again, you're basically going up and down, left and right, swooping corners, long straightaways, elevation changes everywhere. You're going uphill, you're going downhill. This track offers absolutely everything. That is not Canadian Tire Motorsport Park on that sign.
No, the branding might need a little bit of a refresh.
That is certainly one way to put it. Is now, unfortunately, I had some technical issues I had to deal with here before going live. I originally did have this going live. A couple people did end up seeing it, but then my computer decided to go through a bunch of issues. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we did kind of miss the first half of qualifying there. We do apologize for that inconvenience, but hey, we're still going to try and get it right here anyways. And I might as well actually put in the damn name of this thing. And I think for legal
Canadian time, you've got an extra few minutes.
And I think for legal reasons, I did something certain at the top of the ticker there with some certain words.
Well, I mean, they weren't spoken.
It's just in case. Oh my gosh. Dylan Bahm with a big crash.
But more like an atom bomb.
Basically, and then he just responds because that's realistic.
Well, I mean, it got him to the top of the board, so sure.
Somehow, yes. I mean, and you know what, Jordy? We might as well talk about this guy right now. I mean, Dylan Bahm, 2 wins in 3 races, and again, a rookie here in the Canadian Motorsports Network, and it seems like that momentum from the season finale victory at Homestead Miami Speedway in Season 4 of the NASCAR Series, of course, its first one on iRacing. This guy has been on fire for, the past, over a month.
Yeah, he's been the guy to beat effectively in that time. Again, the OBS 250 mixed in there. But, yeah, if you count, actual series races, as you say, he's won 3 out of the last 4. He's gotten acclimated, and of course he had that, very close call late in the playoffs as well, where he very nearly took his first victory there. But yeah, it seems like he's kind of found his groove here, because one of the things we were kind of talking about in the NASCAR Season 4 whenever we first got our eyes on him. Like, we knew he had the speed, but the consistency wasn't necessarily there, the connectivity wasn't necessarily there, and maybe the aggression was a little too present at times. But, you know, he's proven that he's a battler on track as well, and he's a guy that's, you know, he's, you know, not afraid to take chances, but he's figuring out, I think, kind of how to harness that within the confines of the Canadian E-Motorsports network. And, I mean, the results have really spoken for themselves over the last month plus.
Absolutely. So that is the number 3 Toyota SimLeaguePro.com Team 44 racing car. Of course, still currently at the top by 27 1/1000ths of a second over the number 32 of Charlie Sears, driving for 499 Racing. Yeah, again, another rookie here. The first driver in Canadian Motorsports Network history to have a pro license here on iRacing. So far, the pattern with him, as I mentioned earlier, you know, when he doesn't DNF, he wins. So far.
Yeah, I mean, the song goes 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Unfortunately, his 2 have been DNFs to this point, as you say. But yeah, the 1, I mean, that's as dominant as, you know, 2 or 3 victories by anybody else, quite frankly.
So about a minute and a half to go here in the qualifying session. It appears we will have 15, 16, 17 cars out of 20 drivers that will be participating here in tonight's race. If I can, yeah, Andy Hurdle being one that already confirmed beforehand in behind-the-scenes chats that he unfortunately will not be participating tonight, so that will certainly put a damper on his point situation, currently being in second place. Caden Tufts is another name that I clearly can't see in the number 00. And for the third guy, I cannot think of him right off the top of my head. And I just saw a movement here heading into the final minute of this qualifying session, as initially Corbin McCauley was in the 3rd position, but no, it was the rookie it's again another rookie. It's an all-rookie podium here. It's the number 1 BMW of CD Magnum, sponsored by Nordic Aluminum and A1 Grassroots Lawn Maintenance and Landscaping.
And while we've got Magnum on the screen, I'd like to make a bit of a clarification from last week. Yes, you see the, you know, pink and blue livery. I may have made a comment that it was resembling cotton candy, but Mr. Mangrum informed me after the race that it was actually a breast cancer inspiration. Oh, man. Talk about absolutely horrible timing on that.
All I can do is clap to that one.
Apparently.
Apparently.
I tried to get it right, but, you know, he just decided to go off the rails.
So the qualifying session has pretty much come to an end. I think we're pretty much already spoiling the starting grid right there, as it appears the only driver to put himself in the 56-second range, and he ended up beating Dylan Bahm eventually. It's no surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's probably a lot tighter than most would have expected. But yeah, there's old Chuck Nasty on pole.
Oh, another movement. McCauley to second.
Okay, so I think that makes for
Swainson to second.
Whoa, okay. Let's go.
We had an all-rookie podium, but then in this final minute or so here of qualifying, this changes a couple things.
I think we spoiled the grid.
Yes. But actually, no, yeah. So I initially said Sears was the only driver to reach the 56-second range, but no, Swainson just did that with a 56.973. Sears got a 909. McCauley falling just short, but he does jump on the podium, and Dylan Bahm just got jumped by 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, usually you have to get into a back alley in New York for that to happen, but it just kind of happened pretty quickly here as we come to the end of the session.
Yes, that is the end of qualifying right there, as everyone's going to be lining up here on the front straightaway to get this DART Indy Ontario race underway around 4:13, of course. And as a matter of fact, actually, I might as well just point it out right now just to maybe have it in people's minds, even though we're pretty much trying to focus on tonight's main event. Drivers will have to, I guess in the simulation, have to quickly head to an airport and then travel back down to the United States, because not only are we racing tonight, we're also deciding the starting grid for next week's event, which is not going to be on a Tuesday night because it's going to be Halloween night, but instead it's going to be on a Monday night, where we, tonight, will be deciding the starting grid for next Monday's race in the Indianapolis 250. It'll be Indy 250 qualifying that will be occurring in a different live stream after the running of tonight's event. So again, You're getting two things going on here tonight. We, of course, have the DART Indy Ontario here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and then it's heading right down to America, right back to America, to decide the starting grid for the Indianapolis 250 right after the checkered flag and the post-race show.
Yeah, that is going to be a grind for the guys here tonight. It'll be interesting to see who kind of preserves themselves.
Indeed. So with all that being said, we're going to take a little bit of a step back here so I can go through race control and give these DART series superstars, cars, and stars, however I may want to put it here, give them a bit of a quick message and say the most famous words in motorsports, get the engines fired up to get round 4:13 of Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network DART Series on iRacing underway. Stay tuned. and y'all just heard the engines get fired up here to get round 4 underway. So let's go to the chopper here. Let's go through the starting grid for tonight's race. Starting on the front row, we have the number 32 Chevrolet Charlie Sears starting on the pole. And to his inside or outside, I can't really tell with this track, the number 99 of Jonathan Swainson. We now move on to some familiar faces here, at least from the NASCAR series. The number 17 Honda of Corbin McCauley alongside the number 3 Toyota of Dylan Bahm.
And now we'll go to row 3A, where we find the number 1 of CD Mangrum, who rounds out the top 5, and he'll have Darcy Ford for company on his outside. The number 64 Rolls-Royce starts 6th. Then we move on to row 4, where we've got the number 9 of Jose Mercado starting 7th. And on his outside is an interesting case here in the form of the number 12 of Mike Marini in the Audi. But in the NASCAR series, he's a 2-time winner at this track. He's a guy who knows what he's doing.
Indeed. So now we move on to the bottom of the top 10, where we have the number 2 Ford of Daniel Cudmore.